Now, the long-awaited domestic abuse bill returned to Parliament today for its first reading. The bill was delayed last year by Boris Johnson's decision to prorogue Parliament and hold an election. Amongst the measures proposed in the bill, domestic violence offenders in England and Wales could face compulsory lie detector tests when released from prison. A review has also begun into what support can be provided to migrant victims of domestic abuse. Well, Jess Phillips joins us, Labour MP for Birmingham Yardley, long-term campaigner for action on domestic abuse. Jess, very good evening. Now, before you came into Parliament, you worked for Women's Refuges. How important is this piece of legislation?
I mean, the legislation in and of itself won't necessarily change that much. What I hope it does is doesn't just change different little bits of legislation around restraining orders and the like, but actually creates a sort of platform for the government to take real action and show real will for what is actually an epidemic in our country and needs real political grit and will to change it. And
have you been involved in the drafting of this? Because obviously the Home Office know of your expertise.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And, I can only commend on a week where not many people are commending their Home Office ministers. I can only commend the work that the Home Office have done to be collegiate, cross-party, and to involve lots and lots of the agencies who work in domestic abuse and violence against women and girls to try and get it to be as good as it can be. I still think it needs quite a lot of improvement.
What would you like the government to do that they haven't done in terms of putting new clauses into this? And presumably it could be done at the committee stage of the bill.
Yes, that's the hope, is that we will amend it as it goes through Parliament. And actually, I think the government is expecting that and sort of welcomes that process, making the bill the best it can be. One of the things is really missing at the moment is the protections for migrant women and women who have no recourse to public funds. And these are not people who are in this country illegally. They are usually people here completely legally but don't have access to public funds as part of their immigration status. And at the moment, it would be almost impossible for women and children in that category to go into refuge accommodation, for example, or to seek proper welfare support in order to break free from a violent abuser. And I think that if the bill wants to do what I believe the government wants it to do, it has to include all women and not quibble about somebody's status when trying to save their life and the lives of their children.
You mentioned Home Office ministers there. Any reaction to Priti Patel, the allegations against Priti Patel on bullying?
Well, I think that they need to be rigorously looked into, and I think that can be done without fear or favour. I think the Cabinet Office have said that they're going to do an inquiry, and what I really hope is that civil servants who have worked in the number of different ministries that Priti Patel has been a minister or a Secretary of State in are allowed to give evidence without fear or favour into her behaviour, and whether it breached the ministerial code, but not just the ministerial code, the sort of standards of good practice that we should expect, where people aren't fired because somebody doesn't like their face, or have horrible bullying and shouting and aggression to the point where they feel like they can't go to work anymore. I hope that is going to be done really thoroughly and that people feel that they can come forward. I have to say, I suspect because of a sort of litany of mistakes by Priti Patel in the past. She's already been sacked from being the Secretary of State once before for, not bullying and aggression on that occasion, but still showed a clear lack of judgment. What I think seems to have happened is that she feels she's above the rules. And we've got evidence from the Department for Work and Pension that's coming forward. We know about her misdemeanours when she was international development, and now the Permanent Secretary at the Home Office is pointing the finger as well. It just seems to me like she's got, as my nan would have said, got a bit of a bob on herself and thinks she can do what she likes.
I love that phrase. I shall plagiarise it from you. Jess, thank you very much indeed. That's Jess Phillips, Labour MP for Birmingham Yardley.